The sun had just begun its slow descent, turning the sky into a canvas of molten gold and soft purple shadows, when the distress call came in. The radios at the local animal rescue headquarters crackled with static before a panicked voice cut through the noise. "There's a dog. Please, please, you have to come quickly. It's trapped by some kind of snake. A huge one. I don't know what to do." The caller's voice quivered, high-pitched with terror. The operators exchanged glances. Urgent calls were not unusual, but this one carried a peculiar dread in its cadence. Within minutes, the brave rescue team, a unit that had built its reputation on daring missions to save both humans and animals from impossible predicaments, was dispatched. At the heart of the team was Captain Elena Vargas, a seasoned rescuer known for her cool head and steely determination. Alongside her were Ravi Patel, an animal behavior specialist, and Lucas Grant, a former wildlife ranger with experience dealing with reptiles. Together, they loaded their gear: tranquilizer kits, cutting tools, stretchers, protective gear, and radios. By the time their truck roared down the dirt road toward the edge of the forest where the caller had directed them, the daylight was fading into ominous twilight. The woman who had made the call, an older villager named Marta, ran forward to meet them, her face pale. Her hands trembled as she pointed toward the dense foliage. "This way. Hurry, please. My neighbor's dog, Max, a German shepherd, he chased something into the woods and then the snake." Her words broke into sobs. The team exchanged grim looks but wasted no time. They pushed forward into the thick brush, vines snagging their sleeves, the smell of damp earth filling their nostrils. They could hear it before they saw it, a muffled whimpering, broken by occasional growls that spoke more of desperation than aggression. And then they reached the clearing. Max lay on his side, pinned beneath the monstrous coils of a reticulated python, its glistening body thick as a tree trunk, muscles rippling under patterned scales. The serpent's head hovered above, tongue flicking in and out, eyes fixed with cold, predatory calm. Each time Max struggled, the coils tightened, pressing harder against his ribs. His eyes rolled wildly, foam gathering at his lips as his chest rose and fell with rapid, shallow breaths. "Dear God," Lucas whispered. "That's the biggest one I've seen in 20 years. The snake was easily over 20 feet long. It had already begun its suffocating ritual, intent on ending its prey's struggle before consumption. Every second counted. Captain Elena took charge immediately. "Lucas, we'll need you to distract the head. Ravi, prep the tranquilizer. We have one shot at this before the dog suffocates." Marta clasped her hands in silent prayer, tears streaking down her dirt-smudged face. Lucas, gripping a long pole with a forked end, approached cautiously. He knew well that a python, while non-venomous, was immensely strong. A careless move could result in broken bones, or worse. With practiced steadiness, he positioned the pole between the snake's head and Max's body, pushing gently to redirect its focus. The python's eyes flicked toward him, tongue lashing. Its body twitched, tightening further around Max. The German shepherd let out a strangled yelp, his paws flailing weakly. "Now, Ravi," Elena hissed. Ravi crouched low, his hands steady despite the adrenaline hammering through his veins. He aimed the tranquilizer dart at the thick muscle just behind the snake's head and pulled the trigger. The dart flew true, embedding itself with a faint thunk. The serpent thrashed violently, coils jerking. Max gave a choking cough, his body convulsing as the pressure momentarily shifted. Lucas dug his boots into the ground, holding firm against the snake's lashing head. "It's not working fast enough," Elena shouted. "We need to pry him free." With swift precision, she pulled out a metal rod designed for leverage and began working at the coils. Each loop was like a living vice, resistant and unyielding. Ravi joined her, straining to wedge the gaps wider. The python's immense strength made progress agonizingly slow. "Stay with me, Max. Just stay with me, boy," Elena urged, her voice fierce. The German shepherd's eyes met hers, clouded with pain but flickering with trust, as if he understood that these humans were his last hope. Minutes stretched into eternity. Sweat poured down their faces as they pried and pulled, each second critical. The snake's movements grew sluggish as the tranquilizer seeped deeper into its system, but its grip remained deadly tight. Finally, with a guttural cry, Ravi managed to loosen one massive loop. Elena seized the moment, pulling Max's torso free. The dog gasped, sucking in precious air. His whimpers were faint but insistent. He was still alive. "Lucas, hold it," Elena barked. With the last reserves of his strength, Lucas pinned the python's head to the ground, its forked tongue flaring helplessly. The coils slackened further as the drug took hold, until at last the monstrous serpent lay in a motionless heap, chest rising shallowly but no longer constricting. Max stumbled into Elena's arms, his legs trembling violently. His fur was damp with sweat and saliva, patches of skin raw where the coils had pressed hardest. But his heart still beat, fast and frantic, under her hands. Marta sobbed with relief, collapsing to her knees. Bless you all. You saved him." Elena cradled the dog's head, whispering soothing words as Ravi checked him for broken ribs or internal damage. "He'll need immediate care, but he's strong. He'll make it," Ravi said finally, offering a weary but genuine smile. Together, the team carried Max carefully on a stretcher back through the forest, Marta following close behind. Behind them, the python remained subdued, to be later relocated deep into the wild by a specialized wildlife unit. But the mission was not quite over. At the truck, Elena sat beside Max, gently stroking his ears as he rested, his eyes fluttering open now and then to fix on her face. Each time he did, she whispered, "You're safe now. We've got you." The drive back to the animal hospital was silent except for the hum of the engine and Max's labored but steady breathing. The team's exhaustion hung heavy in the air, yet beneath it was the undeniable swell of triumph, the kind that only came from staring down death and pulling life back from its jaws. At the clinic, veterinarians worked swiftly, treating Max with oxygen, fluids, and gentle massage to ease his strained lungs. Hours later, when Marta was allowed inside, she found Max resting peacefully, his tail giving a faint wag at the sight of her. The old woman buried her face in his fur, weeping with joy. "You brave, foolish boy. You came back to me." Word of the rescue spread quickly. News outlets picked up the story, headlines blaring about the brave rescue team's incredible mission. Videos recorded by Marta and the team circulated online, showing the dramatic confrontation with the serpent and the tender aftermath of Max's survival. Millions watched, holding their breath as though they too had been there in the forest, feeling the pulse of danger and the surge of relief. For Elena, Ravi, and Lucas, the fame mattered little. What stayed with them was the image of Max's eyes, the moment life had almost slipped away but hadn't. They knew this was why they did what they did, not for accolades but for the living beings whose stories might otherwise have ended in silence. Weeks later, the team visited Marta's village once more. Max bounded out of the yard to greet them, his strength fully returned. He leapt into Elena's arms with joyous abandon, his tongue lolling, his bark echoing through the air like a song of gratitude. Marta's eyes shone as she watched. "He remembers," she said softly. "He knows you saved him." Elena laughed, hugging the dog tightly. "It wasn't just us. It was him, too. He never gave up." The memory of that night, the suffocating coils, the desperate fight, and the fragile miracle of survival, would stay etched in their hearts forever. And though many more calls would come, each bringing new challenges, they would always remember Max, the German shepherd who had looked into their eyes with unyielding trust as they pulled him from the deadly embrace of a giant snake. In that trust lay the essence of their mission, to be the hands that pulled life from the darkness, again and again, no matter the odds. And in the fading glow of another sunset, the brave rescue team stood ready, hearts steady, waiting for the next call.